This tragic story raises so many questions about who is responsible. What are the legal consequences here? Joining us now, our legal panel, Fred Cates, a former prosecutor, and Dwane Cates, a criminal defense attorney. Gentlemen, this is just so heartbreaking.
Good morning.
You know, any parent, any human being just feels for this child's mother. But we've seen this time and time again, you know, and it reminds us of the case back in 2006 with young Megan. So where are we headed here in terms of how this can be prosecuted? Fred?
Well, I got to tell you, I have 3 sons in high school, so you know this is something that's very near and very dear to my heart. And the bottom line is this: I personally would have probably prosecuted this woman this young girl for even more. You know, I teach my students that if you point a gun in the air and shoot it, pull the trigger, and the bullet comes down and hits somebody, you may not have meant to kill them, but it's a reasonably foreseeable consequence. That was reasonably foreseeable as a result of what this people did, and I think it's outrageous.
But the charge is aggravated stalking, correct?
Yeah, which is not enough as far as I'm concerned. That's 5 years in a detention center at best. I think, quite frankly, the charges should have been more.
You know, it's amazing when you take a look at this whole situation, you know, and you ask yourself, what is going on with these children? Is this something that we can expect? You know, I mean, this young woman, this 14-year-old, after she heard what happened, she went back onto the internet and she said, yeah, I know I bullied her and she killed herself, and I just don't care. I mean, what's going on here?
Well, you know, number one, she's alleged to have said that. Her attorney has come out and said that she didn't type that somebody hacked her computer. So we don't know for sure that that's the case. That's what's been reported. You know, there's a lot of blame to go around here to a lot of people. I mean, number one, somebody at the school had to know this was going on.
Yep.
The 14-year-old girl's parents, both parents of the girls, and it's not just these 2 girls. There's reportedly like 15
there were 15 girls, and the other girl, the 12-year-old, apparently shows some remorse. The 14-year-old, as I pointed out, clearly has not, and that was what moved this sheriff, who's a very strong character in this story, to go ahead and incarcerate this young woman. But you know, she is 14 years old, Fred. So what do you expect in terms of an ultimate penalty? Because in the end, isn't that what's needed to sort of put the fear of God into some of these kids?
Correct. Hey, look, Dwayne's doing what a defense lawyer is supposed to do. They're pointing the fixtures at every place else. But here's the bottom line. Everybody else is responsible. No, this child is responsible. This woman, this 14-year-old person is responsible. And I think you need to send a serious message. And this has to be put an end to. These are serious problems. This social media stuff has a dark and evil side that needs to be watched.
Yeah, you're so right.
It does, you know, but they've sent a message. They don't need harsher charges. I'm glad they didn't come up with some negligent homicide charge or some trumped-up charge. I'm glad they didn't, because that would have marginalized it. Because they had to have something that they can go on. Now, I think that the charges are probably appropriate in this case if the facts are as they are. You have to understand, these are kids. The part of their brain that says, maybe I shouldn't do this isn't formed yet. I've raised 3
you know what?
teenagers.
The sheriff is also pointing the finger at her parents, because
Correct.
her parents don't seem to think there's any problem here. But as you say, the legal process is going to play out.
You don't tell someone to drink bleach and die. I'm sorry. You don't tell people to drink bleach and die. Where were parents? If my kids did that, the law would be the lucky part of what they get.
I hear you. I hear you, Fred. I got to agree. Dwayne and Fred, we're going to talk a lot more about this in the future. Thanks, gentlemen.